This is my 2017 Skoda Superb 206 TSI Sportline. It's an absolutely brilliant car, really doing a good job of combining performance, luxury and practicality. The car has a great deal of configurability in the driving menu. You can go in there quite easily and reconfigure the suspension firmness from a really firm sporty mode to a really soft comfort mode, the firmness of the steering wheel. But one thing that's really lacking in this is the ability to meaningfully reconfigure your throttle. And this has been one of my biggest bugbears with this car because from the factory it feels like the throttle pedal is connected to the throttle body with a kitchen sponge. There is just no responsiveness whatsoever. And that's what I'm going to be aiming to fix today by installing an EVC throttle controller. This $200 device has the black module here, which plugs in between your throttle pedal and the car's wiring harness, and then the white module controls all the settings and setup. And your installation and setup is incredibly easy, all very well explained in this easy to follow instruction manual. And to show you how easy it is, all you have to do is get in underneath your car's footwell and unplug the cables that sit at the top of your throttle pedal, plug the black module in between the throttle pedal and the plug that you just unplugged, and then find a good space for you to put your throttle controller. And in the 1 year I've owned this car, I never knew this little cubby hole by your right knee even existed until someone on a Facebook group pointed it out, and it turns out to be an absolutely perfect space to put this controller. The setup is an absolute breeze with just a few button presses. I'm putting it onto Ultimate 3, which according to most people who have these in their cars is probably the best setting for a good balance between throttle responsiveness without going completely overboard. Before I take it out on the road, I'm just going to give you a quick demo of what this thing actually does. Here the controller is in setting 0, which is essentially off, and I'm just very lightly touching the throttle pedal, so just barely making the RPM increase. And now here with the throttle controller in position 9, or its most sensitive setting, applying the same amount of pressure to the throttle pedal results in much higher engine RPM. And now out here on the road with the controller in U3, I can tell straight away that the throttle is far more responsive. Really feels like the pedal is connected to the throttle body with a cable like it should be, rather than the original settings which were just spongy as all hell. With the car in automatic mode, when I want to accelerate, it's downshifting a lot easier and a lot more predictably, as opposed to how it came from the factory, where you put your foot down and you're not really sure if it's going to stay in the same gear or if it's going to drop down, 1 or 2 gears and just make you accelerate way more than what you're expecting. Now here I just switch the controller over to position 9 just to see what it's like, and very quickly it accelerates me up to
safe and legal
speeds just by barely touching the throttle. So I'm gonna go back to 3, I think. And while cruising on the highway without cruise control on, I found it still relatively easy to keep the car at the exact speed I wanted. The throttle is definitely a little bit more sensitive and requires a little bit more frequent adjusting, but overall it's not really a factor for me. So what do I think of it overall? For $200 and literally 5 minutes to install, this thing is absolutely worth it. Just makes the car so much more drivable, so much more predictable, and if you're looking to make your car feel a little bit more sporty, this is probably the best bang for your buck, besides getting a tune put on it, which coincidentally is what I'm going to be doing in the next video. So do all that YouTube stuff like subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.